Hello everyone, I am Shelami Bungao. I am going to discuss about simple and compound interest. First, let's have our objectives. Our objectives are: define what is simple interest, define what is compound interest, solve simple interest in real life situation, solve compound interest in real life situation. And now, let's have a review first. What is interest? If we say interest, it is when you borrow money to someone or somebody else money, you have to pay a service charge to the lender. This amount is paid back to the lender along with the original amount borrowed. This is sometimes known as the cost of money, which doesn't belong to you, but you have to use it. The extra amount is called the interest. The original amount borrowed is known as principal or capital in different situations. The sum of both principal and interest is known as amount, or if you are going to add the principal and the interest, it will be called amount, or the amount that you are going to pay to the lender. All the amount that you are going to pay to the lender. Now, what is simple interest? If we say simple interest, it is the amount of money charged by multiplying principal amount with rate and interest and time, either days, months, or years it has been charged. Simple interest is dependent on rate of interest, the percent, time period, either days, months, or years, principal, or the amount that you borrowed. And the principal remains the same at the beginning of the period. It means that the accrual of interest is linear. And now the question is, how are you going to find the simple interest? So there will be a formula in finding the simple interest, which is I is equals to PRT. I represent as interest, P, principal amount, R, rate of interest, T, as time, either days, months, or years. We also have the maturity value. If you say maturity value, that is all the amount that you are going to pay to the lender. That will be maturity value, or A is equals to P plus I. You are going to sum up the principal and the interest. So that will be your maturity value. All the money that you are going to pay to the lender. Or A is equals to P plus PRT, which is PRT is the interest. And now, let's proceed to our example when we are going to use our formula to find the simple interest. Sergio borrowed 120,000 from his uncle. If Sergio agreed to pay 8% annual interest rate, calculate the amount of interest he must pay if the loan period is 1 year and if the loan period is 9 months. So, our given for letter A, so our principal is 120,000. Our rate is 8%. If we are going to convert this to decimal, that will be 0.08. Then, our time is equals to 1 year. Since that will be annually. So, if you see annually, that will be yearly. So, then, the formula is I is equals to PRT. So, let's substitute. RP is 120,000. Then, our rate is 0.08 in decimal times 1, which is 1 year. So, if you're going to multiply that 1 times 0.08 times 120,000, that will be 9,600. So, that will be your interest. So, how about in 9 months? What is amount of interest he must pay? So, still the same. Your principal is 120,000. Your rate is 8% or 0.08. then the difference there is the time, because you will pay the loan after 9 months. Since yearly, there will be an annual rate of 8%. So you're going to divide 9 by 12. So you're going to pay 9 months out of 12 months, which is 12 months is equivalent to 1 year. Then I is equals to PRT, interest is equals to principal times rate times time, is equals to, your principal is 120,000 times your interest rate 0.08 times 9 over 12. And if you are going to multiply that one, that will be 7,200. So that will be your amount of interest if you are going to pay the loan in 9 months. Okay, next example. Diane borrowed 1,000 with an interest rate of 10% per month. What is the simple interest after 8 months? So, our solution, first, write the given. Your given there is your principal is 1,000. Your rate is 10% or 0.10 in decimal. Your time there is 8 months. So, your interest rate there is per month. So, since we're going to find the simple interest rate after 8 months, so your time will be 8. Then, using the formula, I is equals to PRT, equals, your P is 1,000, multiply it by the rate, your rate is 0.10, multiply it by the time, which is 8. So, the answer will be 800. So, therefore, 800 pesos as simple interest. All in all, he will pay 1,800 including from the principal amount and interest. Since your interest is 800 pesos, then your principal is 1,000. So the money that you are going to pay to the lender is 1,800 all in all. Now let's proceed to compound interest. Now what is compound interest? If you say compound interest is the amount or money taken from the principal amount with interest, and the interest money is being included in computing the next interest of the months or years. So, we have the formula A is equals to P times 1 plus R to the power of T, where A is the maturity value, the amount that you are going to pay for the loan period, P as the principal amount, the money that you borrowed, R, which is the rate of interest or the percent, T as the time. Okay, compound interest is dependent on rate of interest, the percent, time period, either days, months, or years, principal amount, the amount that you borrowed, and the principal increases by the interest amount at the end of each period. Interest for the next period is calculated in this increase principal. It means that the principal plus interest of one period becomes the principal for the next period. So in other words, the interest earns interest, that is compound interest. Some call it reinvesting or cumulative. Compound interest means that the accrual of interest is not linear but exponential. The compounding may be yearly, half-yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, continuous, or infinitely compounded. And now let's proceed to the example of compound interest. Jenna borrowed 1,000 with an interest rate of 10,000 compounded monthly, which she borrowed from the cooperative. Compute how much she will pay in 4 months and how much she will pay in 1 year. So first, let's have the 4 months. So your solution is there. Your given is the principal is 1,000. The rate is 10% or 0.10 in decimal. T or the time is you're going to pay it after 4 months. Then you're going to substitute. A is equals to, your principal is 1,000. Multiply it by 1 plus 0.10 to the power of 4. So first, you're going to add what is inside the quantity, which is 1 plus 0.10. So that it will become 1.1. So before you're going to multiply inside the quantity to the outside, you are going to multiply 1.1 to the power of 4. So it will become 1,000 multiplied by 1.4641. So if you multiply that one, that will become 1,464.1 or 1,464. Therefore, Jenna will pay 1,464 in 4 months. Now, how about in 1 year? So your given there is the same. In principal, which is 1,000, your rate is 10% or 0.10. Then your time is different, which is 12 months, equivalent to 1 year, since compounded monthly. Then, if you substitute, that will be A is equals to 1,000, your principal. Multiply it by 1 plus 0.10 to the power of 12. 1 plus 0.10, that will be 1.1. 1.1 to the power of 12, that will be 3.138. Then multiply it to 1,000, that will be 3,138,428 or 3,138. Therefore, Jenna will pay 3,138 in 1 year. As you can see, there is a small amount of interest in simple interest than the compound interest. So, if you are going to borrow money, be sure that that will be a simple interest. So it will be better for you. But if you are a lender, so it's better for you to lend money in compound interest. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Bye.